Now, I didn't think this case was any good when it was released last year, but my opinion for this product has slightly changed after doing a deep dive on it. I'm testing 50 cases to figure out the best 5. This is review number 8. Because I'm a reviewer, not an influencer, for the iPhone 17s, my scoring system is based on what the iPhone actually feels when it hits the ground on its corner, on its face, as well as on its camera lump. Each case gets dropped 30 times, so when I say it's terrible, it's because I've got the data to back it up. Now, out of the 16 plus cases I've tested so far, this case is incredibly slick, perhaps the slickest. Finish is very smooth, the iPhone's gonna slide around quite easily. One of the things about this product is the microfiber goes all the way up to the camera lump. Mouse doesn't even do that. The camera lump isn't covered. It's got a big hole, not like the previous case we reviewed. This case only weighs 33 grams, which is crazy. Really keep that in mind when I talk about the protection aspect of this product. In terms of bulk, it's only going to add 46% to the iPhone. Seriously, a big fan of just how svelte this thing is. When it comes to handling this thing, oh, it handles like a wet bar soap. It's a drop hazard from my perspective. There's plastic buttons on this case and they flow through the case, so they feel nice. The camera control button also floats. There's no bottom edge to this product, so use whatever girthy size cable head you want in this hole. Now, when it came to MagSafe, for pull, it was 10 newtons. To push things off was a little lower at 9.3 newtons. These values are a hair below average, but close enough. In fact, out of Apple's entire case lineup, this case has the best MagSafe performance. Now, when it comes to protective features for this product, the corners are about 1.9 mils thick. Same with the back. Now, here's the cool thing about this case. When it comes to rigidity, this thing took 58 newtons to bend at 8 mils. That's 99% higher than the average case. A super rigid back really helps with drop protection, but this rigidity doesn't help for the bottom part. I'll elaborate on it. Now, unlike my Beats case last year, this case didn't crack, but it definitely did deform after all my drops. It's not terrible, but it's pretty noticeable. Battle scar! Now, when it came to corner drops, this thing saw 10.4 Gs at the moment of impact. Remember what it was for this case? This was 16. 10.4 for a case that is a fraction of the thickness. Pretty good. Now, right after a drop, this thing kind of tumbles, and it's reduced it by about 4%, which is pretty cool. But because of the rigid back, when you drop it and it finally settled down, that rate was much slower. Almost 50% slower than average. And the total force going into the iPhone was a little lower at 1.39 newtons a second, which is kapow, 5% better than the average case. I'll be honest with you, it was neat to see this product do so well. I'm reviewing the rugged version of the Beats case next. It's gonna be neat to see the differences. Now, when it comes to face first drops, unlike the silicone case as well as the tech woven case, this thing passed. If the top part of the iPhone hits first, the initial impact is 23% higher, the settling rate is 47% worse, and the total force going into the iPhone in a face first drop was average. In my drop testing, I measure how long it takes for the entire phone to settle, and this thing settles incredibly quickly because of the rigid back. So it experiences a lot more force during a face first drop, but it settles incredibly quickly. So that's why the total force isn't as high as I thought it would be, given that the initial drop and the settling rates were very, very poor. But what happens if you drop it port side down? Do you see what's happening? If you drop it the other way, oh, that's the sound of the screen hitting the table. So despite this part being okay, the bottom part makes this whole thing go Now, the protection around the camera lump is just a piece of polycarbonate. When the camera lump hits, the initial impact is decent. It's nothing to write home about. In terms of it settling down, well, that was poor and this was poor as well. It's really a bummer because the rigidity of this case saves it a lot, but the rigidity is also a double-edged sword. This case needs a couple more layers of something in order to make it really good. Which means this thing has to be awesome, right? The rugged version? That video is coming up next. So would I get this case if I wasn't a reviewer? The answer is no. It handles like a wet bar soap. I'm gonna drop it a bunch of times, and I'm really uncomfortable of how easily the case pops off at the bottom of the iPhone. So who would get this case? I'm guessing somebody who has a strong loyalty to the brand Beats. Man, what a downfall for Beats, a cultural icon like 15 years ago, and now they make iPhone cases. I'm on a mission to figure out what the best iPhone cases are. Who's gonna clean that up? If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do, and check my channel back regularly, because the moment I finish a review, I'm gonna post it right away. So yeah.